The rejection letter fell from her shaking hands and landed face down on the cold tile floor, as if even the paper could not bear to look at her. In that silent moment, with the sun setting outside a cracked apartment window and unpaid bills stacked like quiet accusations on the table, a poor girl's dream collapsed in a way that felt louder than any scream. She had believed this scholarship was her way out, her proof that suffering could still lead somewhere bright. Instead, it ended with tears she could no longer hold back, soaking into the sleeves of a worn sweater that had seen too many winters. She did not know yet that this lowest moment was being watched by fate, or that a single dad, carrying his own invisible burdens, was about to change her life with something he created from pain, hope, and love. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet miracles that change lives, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Because stories like this remind us that humanity still exists even in the darkest moments. Her name was Emily Carter, a 19-year-old girl from a struggling neighborhood in Ohio, where opportunity felt like a rumor rather than a reality. She had grown up in a home where the walls were thin and the future felt thinner, raised by a mother who worked long hours until illness slowly took her strength and eventually her life. Emily learned early how to stretch a dollar, how to study by flickering light when electricity bills went unpaid, and how to smile politely when teachers spoke about college as if it were a simple step instead of a mountain. Education was not just her dream, it was her promise to herself and to her late mother that suffering would not be inherited like debt. She studied relentlessly, earning grades that surprised even her teachers, and poured her heart into scholarship applications because she knew she could not afford even a single semester on her own. The rejection of the final scholarship felt cruel in its timing and tone, full of polite phrases that offered encouragement without solutions. Emily sat alone in the community library long after closing time, tears slipping down her face as the weight of reality pressed into her chest. College acceptance meant nothing without money, and the idea of working multiple jobs while studying felt like a slow path to exhaustion rather than success. She wondered if all her effort had been naive, if hope itself had misled her. Outside, rain streaked the windows, mirroring her own quiet breakdown, and she felt small in a world that rewarded those who already had so much. Unnoticed by her at first, a man sat at the far end of the library, gathering papers into a weathered leather bag. His name was Michael Reynolds, a single father in his early 40s, with tired eyes softened by patience earned through loss. He had come to the library not for leisure, but necessity, helping his 10-year-old son research a school project before heading home. Michael had learned to live carefully, emotionally, and financially, ever since his wife passed away years earlier, leaving him to raise their child alone while juggling construction work and evening classes. Life had carved humility into him, but it had also sharpened his empathy. He noticed the girl crying, not loudly, not dramatically, but with the quiet desperation of someone trying not to be seen. Michael did not intrude or ask questions. He simply observed, recognizing a familiar look in Emily's eyes, the same look he had seen in the mirror after his wife's funeral, when the future seemed impossibly heavy. He remembered how close he had come to giving up on his own education back then, how someone unexpected had once helped him in a way that did not just offer money, but dignity. That memory stayed with him as he walked out into the rain, his mind unsettled by the image of the girl clutching a rejection letter like a broken wing. What Emily did not know was that Michael had spent years quietly building something out of gratitude. After finishing his own degree through night classes and grants, he had promised himself that if he ever stood on steadier ground, he would help someone else climb when the world pushed them down. It was not a grand foundation or a wealthy donors program, but a modest scholarship fund he had slowly created, depositing small amounts whenever he could, skipping comforts, repairing old clothes instead of buying new ones. It was named not after himself, but after his late wife, whose belief in kindness had been unshakable. Until that day, he had never known who would receive it. Emily returned to her apartment that night feeling hollow. She folded the rejection letter carefully and placed it back in its envelope, as if respecting it might make it hurt less. She lay awake listening to distant sirens and the hum of the city, wondering how dreams could feel so close and yet unreachable. In the following days, she began preparing herself for disappointment, looking for full-time work, shelving her college plans with a heaviness that made even breathing feel like effort. Friends tried to comfort her, but encouragement without solutions only deepened the ache. A week later, Emily returned to the library to use the free computers to update her resume. Her eyes were tired, her hope muted, but her posture still carried determination. As she printed her resume, a folded envelope slid gently onto the desk beside her. She looked up, startled, and saw the same man from before, standing a few steps back, his expression calm but purposeful. There were no dramatic gestures, no crowd, just a quiet moment suspended in time. He nodded once and walked away, leaving behind a sense of confusion and curiosity that cut through Emily's numbness. Inside the envelope was a letter explaining the existence of a small private scholarship created in honor of a woman who believed education could save lives. It detailed that the funds were meant for a student with financial hardship, academic dedication, and a heart that refused to quit. Enclosed was confirmation that the scholarship would cover Emily's first year of college, with continued support if she maintained her commitment. Her hands trembled as she read it again and again, disbelief washing over her like warmth after a long winter. This was not charity that felt humiliating. It was belief made tangible. Emily searched the library for the man, her heart pounding with gratitude and shock, but he was already gone. She spent the next hour sitting motionless, tears returning, but this time they were different, filled with relief and something dangerously close to joy. For the first time since the rejection, the future reopened, fragile but real. She clutched the letter as if it might disappear, whispering silent thanks to a stranger whose kindness had rewritten her story. Michael never sought recognition. For him, watching from a distance as Emily enrolled in college, balancing classes with part-time work, was enough. He followed her progress through brief updates she sent to the scholarship's email address, updates filled with determination and gratitude, not praise. He read about her late nights studying, her first past exams, her moments of doubt, and her steady resilience. Each message reaffirmed that the sacrifices he made were worthwhile, that kindness invested carefully could grow into something powerful. Years passed and Emily transformed. College challenged her, broke her down, and rebuilt her stronger. She learned not just academic lessons, but the value of compassion, remembering how one quiet act had saved her from a future she feared. She volunteered, mentored younger students, and carried herself with humility earned through struggle. When she finally graduated, first in her class, the applause felt distant compared to the quiet pride swelling in her chest. She knew success was never solitary. On the day Emily received her first full-time job offer, she wrote a long letter to the man who had believed in her when systems failed. She explained how his scholarship did more than pay tuition. It restored her faith in people. Michael read the letter at his kitchen table while his son did homework nearby, tears blurring the words as he realized that the small fund he created had become something larger than money. It had become a bridge between despair and hope. Just before the story ends, take a moment and comment below with the word hope if you believe that one act of kindness can change an entire life, because your engagement helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. If this story touched your heart, if Emily's tears and Michael's quiet generosity stirred something deep inside you, please like this video, share it with others, and leave a comment to let us know you felt it too, because your support keeps these true-to-life stories alive and spreading light. Emily would one day start her own scholarship, inspired not by wealth but by memory. She would remember the day she cried over a rejection and the moment a stranger handed her a future he had created piece by piece. In a world often loud with indifference, their lives proved that silent kindness still echoes the longest. And sometimes the greatest miracles come not from institutions, but from ordinary people who choose to care.